Oh yeah, what do we got here, baby? Boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun, dun. Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? Let's get to work, paper. All right, all right. What do we got here? Who do we got in here today? All right. Hold on here. Give me 1 second. Just getting not maybe. All right, let's get to work. All right, let me make sure everybody gets in. Okay, Brahmer, what up, baby? My man. Hold on, let me fluff my coffee here. 1 second. All right, all right. We in the game. Yo, let's get to work, people. Everybody good? All right. Whoa, Tommy boy, what up? Hey, Lana, how you doing? Good, 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 good. All right, let me share my screen here, and then we're about to go do the Lord's work, baby. We're about to go do the Lord's work. Hey, look, we got a little gap up in the market again. This market is getting very, very stretched. I'm thinking maybe Friday would be the ideal day. One more push, and then we could try to fade this thing off for maybe 2 days or so. But the market right now is in a very, very unique spot in that it is just grinding higher. Guys, one of the things to be mindful of when you see markets just grind higher is to not step in front and just start assuming that everything is a short, and because you end up missing all really good day trading opportunities. I was just talking to one of my students about that. He's like, "Fuck! Every time market starts to get extended, I start shorting, and I miss out on all this really, really good heat." And so we got to be careful on that. Right now, the market is just trending up. The short comes in when you start to get like really, parabolic here. So if you notice here, what we're doing is we're just kind of grinding up the upper Bollinger Band, in between the upper Bollinger Band and 90 MA. What you ideally want to see if you were really going to step in front of the train is to, get that kind of that last swoosh, right? When I say last swoosh, that you're talking about, right? That just like that big hairy, right? Big hairy kind of push that gets you, that gets you like a unique stretch, right? And that's what gets you the rubber band. So just got to be mindful of those things when you're going through. We're getting there, but we still need a little bit of work, right? So let's go on in. Hey, Shares, how you doing? Now let's take a look. So first thing you always want to do in the mornings, right, is take a look at the indexes, and see where all the heat is. See, of course, you got the QQQ. That's the first place that you want to start. So we're in two different aspects of things, right? So if you're looking at long term, right, we're obviously in a huge bull market. And then on the short term basis, we're also right in a big uptrend. And so we use our EMAs, and right. So as long as this kind of shading over here is opened up and really green like that, then you know that the uptrend is still pretty solid. So we're in what we'd call the Goldilocks zone, which is that you have right now a big uptrend on the daily chart, on the longer term time frame and the short term time frame, right? So you're kind of coinciding with both. Now, in just a 3 or 4 day kind of time frame, though, what we can start to see here is that we've got a huge extension. We're about 10 points away from the 9 EMA, and we're starting to get vertical. And so you got to be careful. Your spidey senses should always go off when you start to do your scans at night, and you start to see this huge vertical just start to go, your spidey senses should go off just a little bit, right? And so there's something to kind of keep into the back of your head here. We're getting there. We may not be there yet. It's, ideally it's better on a Friday, but we're getting closer to here. On the SPY, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days up in a row, but you can see here these are kind of rest days. So not as extended as the QQQ, but still significantly overbought, and something that we'll have to just be mindful of as we go through. Good, 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 good. Now, what else do we want to take a look at? What's the third thing? Good. Let's take a look at the IWM here and see what kind of zestiness we get. So the IWM, this is your small cap, mid cap, is just in a big cluster F word, right? So you don't have really anything, you don't got anything there to even trade. A lot of people complain like, well, hey, the market is like, really concentrated in a handful of type of names, right? So when you think about the market is concentrated in a handful of names, that's awesome because it means there's less stocks for you to focus on, right? Like when people compare that there's not enough stocks to trade, that's a good thing, right? Because you don't got to do as much work, and so, okay, if the market is just concentrated into right semiconductors, then at least you know what to look at. There's a lot of markets where you don't know what to look at because you're sitting there and there's too much stuff going on. So we have quite the opposite of that. We know, like, okay, we've got to look at semiconductors and AI names, and that's where the flavor, that's what we roll with, right? So that's where we're kind of going with this. You know, it is an interesting thing because, yeah, a handful of stocks are leading the way, but the big hairy Indian butt is that at least it tells us what to do. Now, if you start to look at some of these, and I'm thinking it could be today, but I'm thinking that they usually happen on Friday. Start to see how parabolic you're getting from your EMA. You got 10 points on MU. Also, we had a good short on this on Thursday. If I'm looking for one more push on this one more push on Nvidia, and I think we're going to be in for some gold. And guys, I got to get this YouTube popping, man. Make sure you hit that like button and give me some big thumbs up and let me know how sexy I am because I've been working. Now that I'm a dad, I've been really kind of coming into my dad bodness, right? So I want to be like a dad god bod kind of guy. So you let me know on that aspect of things. So we got MU, we got Nvidia. You can't long these now unless you get some steep pulls, right? So make sure you stay away from these kind of things. Make sure you stay away from both of these kind of things and chasing them up, right? You can still play them, but they have to be on pullbacks. There's going to be other names that are like a little bit less extended that I think you can roll with, like something like a Qualcomm, is pretty close to its flag over here. So, if this starts to fill its gap here, I think that's probably something that, I think is going to be a lot easier to trade. Don't step in front of any trains here. All right. Don't step in front of any trains. Now let's take a look at some of the other indexes. So one thing that I like to do is I take the list of market indexes, right? And I'll do a 30-day sort just to see like where the heat is in the market. So what do you notice over here? Right? The SMH, that's your semiconductor index, is up 20% in the last 30 days. That's right, your quintessential, maybe probably overbought semi-parabolic here, right? If you see here, MAGs, this is your MAG 7. So this is telling you where all the heat is in the market. And then you have some other trailers over here in terms of natural gas. You've got agriculture. There's not that very many good agriculture stocks even left to trade. But you've got a couple over there that are hanging out. And then old India's been trending for a period of time too. So all the action's been really just kind of focused in over here. And that's something to be just mindful of. If and when the market starts to pull, the thing that you want to take down, right? The thing that you want to take down is the stuff that's the most overbought. Now let's take a look and just see. Let's just take a look and see what kind of gappers and earnings plays we have. So the second thing you want to do every single day is, right, start going through your PR plays, right? So I go in and do a search, right? You're looking for anything that's gapping up 3% or more, minimum 50,000 shares in volume. And then, we'll start sifting through these bad boys to see if there's anything going. Guys, these little nuclear, any stock, by the way, I do a quick search for your probably TC2000. Do a quick search for anything that says nuclear in it, just the word. Like this is nano nuclear, but man, these things are red hot. This is coming out flag pattern over here. You got a whole host of these kind of stocks that are going. I think on the blog yesterday, I put in this SMR. We have a range break setting up on this one that if it can hold here, I think is going to be in a good spot. it's having a little bit of fluctuation in the morning, which is not a huge deal, but something to keep an eye on. Let's see if there's make sure there's no news on this bad boy. But I really like the overall look of this. Just looking at the rest of the sector, this has got a little bit of a little something something on it. You had a huge trend on this on Thursday. Let's see if we hold over here. I think if we do, then we're gonna have something. Sean Daddy, what up, baby? How you doing? Ball Deep, what up? Hey, Ball Deep. Dude, how sick is that name, Balls Deep, right? How sick is that name, man? Balls Deep is you can't get any better than that. Let me take a look here. Let's go back through this. Let's start flipping through some of these. So ACN, this is Accenture. Whoa. Narrow's full year revenue outlook is fiscal third quarter bookings jump on generative AI boost. Oh, look at these bad boys here. All right. So this is a stock that's been really trending down for a period of time, down about 30% in the last couple months. So you start to come out, you've got some earnings out over here. This is probably something that would be up your alley. This would be something that's coming up your alley. I'd actually keep an eye on this one. If you don't mind trading something that's a little bit more extensive, you've got yourself a good look on this one. Yeah, let's add this one. Not the sexiest of names, but I think we can roll with this for a second. Now, this one is interesting. So, Elon Musk reveals Dell and Supermicro suppliers for the XAI supercomputer. So this is this is a really nice chart, right? If you're looking at just like a longer term basis, this thing goes from 200 to 1,200. Now you've got this huge base here. So, you can tell here that you've got $1,000, really in the cards here, probably by, in the next handful of days. But we're in a tricky location on this one. So the PR is good, right? You want to see stuff like that. Dell, okay, sure. You're dealing with Elon Musk, nice. Now, the issue is going to be that you're coming into resistance, but you're also getting a little bit long in the tooth. So if you look at SMCI, you're $100 away from the 9 EMA. So this is a hot chart, but it needs to back and fill this. It needs to back and fill this a little bit. And so what we got to do on this bad boy is probably let this thing blow out today. And then let it kind of come back here. Let it come back and do whatever it is. Let it come back here and do whatever it is. Hey, Shibuna. Yeah, I think they do. What's up, baby? How you doing? Let this thing blow out a little bit. So you got this level over here. I can't buy anything. So when the market gets overbought, if you're 1, 2, 3 days in a row, but you're $100 away from the 9 EMA, you're getting too extended. So what you want to let this thing do is just kind of back and fill this area. And I think it's going to set up for a sick play, maybe even back up into here. But for today, you've got to kind of leave this alone. It may still get more action on it. You could roll up another 25, 30 points today, but you got to let it kind of play out because you're getting in a little extended going into it. Shibunya, what's up? That's a great name, by the way. Cool. Yeah, you can see this is HPE. Man, that's a big push too. So you can kind of see where everything is going. There's not going to be that many PR plays because you don't have earnings season starting up for another couple weeks. So we're at 6-20, right? So 7/17 is the kickoff of earnings season. So you got about 3.5 weeks to get this thing going. Steve, what's up, baby? How you doing? Whoa, look at all this stuff you can do. How you doing? Yeah, so you got about 3 more weeks of kind of just a little fun going on. All right, so there's not really any good gappers on this today. Now, Dell is something I could be interested in because you can see here, you still got some room to go. So what we want to do on this bad boy is if you see Dell on this, right? So you got the PR out with Tesla. It needs a snap back. So if at the open, you start to pull back here and you start to hold into the EMAs, That's where you want to go with this. So, like, we were playing this the last couple days. Dell works really well on this specific setup. So, if you go in, this is called the quick pullback buy, right? So, if you gap up here and you have a morning spike, let it grind back into the 9 EMA, 20 EMA area and let it hold there for one green candle. Don't wait for the green candle to like finish, but just let it hold here for a second so that you know that there's a level that's starting to print. And then you got yourself, your day trade. So like today, okay, you got this PR out with, Tesla, but you're already using up $6. So if you're moving $6, the ATR on Dell is $6.37, right? So you're at $6.35. Now, ATRs, of course, can expand, but you want to be careful at the open, especially the opening tick, to not come in and trade something that's already used up its ATR, unless it's like a really low float kind of, name. Like if it's like a, $2 stock, then it's going to be okay. So wait for this one. It'll pull back. It's been doing this every day. Gaps up, pulls back, gaps up, pulls back. Let this thing rug back a little bit, and I think you're going to have a little spot on this. So let's add this Dell. Now, I'll go into the complete watch list in a second. For those of you guys that are swing traders, right? Anybody that's a part-time trader, that's looking to just buy like a stock and hold it for a handful of days. You got to wait for the market to pull back, right? So if you're a swing trader, right, you're looking to buy a stock, hey, what's hot for the next kind of week or two? When the market is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row, you can't come in and, right, do a bunch of purchases and hold it for a week because, the market is due for a little bit of a snapback. So just kind of be mindful of that. If you're a day trader, that doesn't matter, right? If you're long a couple names and the market rolls over, who gives a shit, right? Like you can flip it on a hot second. That doesn't matter. But what does matter is, right, if you're an investor, swing trader, and I wouldn't say investor, but more swing trader, right? And you're kind of coming into the extension, you're going to have a lot more trouble. So let's just kind of keep that into the back of our heads. Now, Nvidia, all right? So what do we do with this bad boy? So you've got a $5 ATR on this. The gap is at 486. So you're already starting to get into it. Now, there's a couple pieces of news on this to remember. Number one, there's an XLK, right? The XLK ETF, that's the tech ETF. They've got a rebalancing that's done. They got a rebalancing that's being done tomorrow, where they're going to have to sell some Apple. I believe it's like $8 billion of Apple and buy like $10 billion of Nvidia. Now, that's not a huge amount of money, but that has been kind of also putting a little bit of the wind at the back. So it may be that we got to blow this thing out today, and then Fridays, we might take a shot at it. But you are getting about $10 into $10 or the 90 minutes. So on a long-term basis, this is probably fine. But on a short-term basis, it's been just a month and some change, right, where you've kind of doubled in price. So you got to be really careful up here. You're nestled against the top of the Bollinger Band. You got a 90 stochastics. Like if you're a bull on this, that's great. But you have to always remember time frames. If you're a bull on this for the next 5 years, sure. But if you're a bull on this for the next 5 days, not so sure, right? So there's always a little bit of a difference in what you're trying to accomplish. So let's just be a little bit cautious on this one. My thinking is if we blow out this ATR, say we get the 6-7 points, then we'll probably get ourselves a little bit of a short. The ideal scenario, though, that's like for like a kind of a mini day trade. The ideal scenario is for this thing to trend today, and then we gap up tomorrow. Because then you know what, the options dealers and the market makers, they're going to have to be, if it gaps up and this starts to crack, they're going to have to start selling shares really, really fast. And that's how you get these kind of end of day Friday dumps. So just kind of understand a little bit on the mechanics of these things. This thing's got the look. But it needs probably one more big push. You can see here. So you're at the top of the Bollinger Band, which we haven't been. We were here, and then, we did get out over here, and we kind of pulled back for a couple days. We weren't as extended then as we are now. So we'll have to kind of keep that into the back of our heads. And then, MU's already doing it, right? It's already doing it. So We got both of these doing it now. ME's got earnings next week, so it can kind of keep pushing a little bit longer than you think. But we've got ourselves some good locations. This Palantir is a swing. We have this. Paul just had this in our swing trading group here. I think he sold it yesterday. But this has been a good look too. You got a breakout setting up. But once again, you can't chase this thing up, right? So if you're on day 4 of the move and you gap up 3%, you're going to have trouble you're going to have trouble chasing this thing down, especially when the 9 EMA is down over here. So can't long any of these unless you get a pullback. Now let's just take a look at the regular watch list. Let's just take all these tech stocks out of the list and see what is cooking and booking that we actually can play, right? Because there's got to be some good-looking, God-fearing Christian stocks left. So I got this SMR. I think this has got a good overall look to it. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing kind of grind into this 11 just based on the NNE kind of movement. So add this to the list. It may need one rest day, but you're kind of getting there. Sell H, I'm interested if this remounts the 200-day moving average. This thing was $100. It came down into the 50s. To me, what Sell H kind of reminds me of, so they had some PRs out that was causing some heart palpitations for people. And one of the things you got to kind of remember is so when that happens, you'll get this huge reaction. But when people drink energy drinks, if you're some redneck driving around, if you're some redneck driving around drinking Monster energy drinks, and some liberal tells you hey man, this is bad for you, what are you probably going to do? Shit, man. I ain't taking no advice from dumb communists. You got to keep drinking it, and it's kind of when they tell you cigarettes are bad for you, but people that smoke cigarettes are going to smoke cigarettes. And, probably energy drinks are very, very similar. Whoever's drinking this Celsius, they're not going to stop drinking it just because there was some PRs out that the ginseng abstract was too strong, right? You're going to be fuck, man, I don't even know what ginseng is, man. You start talking like that around my parts, man, you're going to get your ass kicked. I'll tell you that right now. Man. So you're going to probably see, I want to see how this reacts around here. If it can remount, I think we're in a good spot, but you're into this huge level of demand right here, right? This is a big support zone. And, if we can kind of just hold and build into this, then I was hoping for just a little bit more pull. But if you can kind of pull and build into this, I think you're going to be in for a good spot. Tarun, which ones did you have? Did you short them last night? Guys, there was a note out on solar stocks, that they're going to be getting hossed on their earnings. So they're all tanking. They're all tanking here. And it was actually a European company, I believe, that warned on their earnings. And so, all these things have been kind of tanking out. So we'll see if there's any reaction to them. I think the one that we'd want to watch that's got the most room to fall is probably this FSLR. So watch and see if we get any push on this. If you start to kind of push into 264 and fail off, then let's see if we can roll this thing over and it's going to follow, right? If it's going to follow the rest of these. You can't chase this thing down with the big gap down because you're at the lower Bollinger Band now. It's come down 30 fucking points, right? And yeah, I do think if you get down probably into 105, you probably try to do a little bit of a long on it. Yeah, you can see 8% on settings. So you're down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. Hey, I do take tips, baby. I do take tips. No, I'm just kidding. I sing for my supper. Yeah, I think you're probably a little bit too long. I knew you were going to short that as soon as I sent you that link. I actually sent it to you an hour before, and you said you didn't get it. Look at this. Woo! Yo. Yeah, it's nasty. I think probably one more stretch into this, and then we'll see what's going on here. But I think if you do get a full-blown rout in solar, guys, remember this. I want you to watch all of them. ENPH run, right? See if there's a full-blown rout in this TAN ETF, right? That's your solar ETF. Then we'll try to take this FSLR down because this is a little bit of a bear flag. You may need to kind of push up here just a tad, but you've got now, right, the rollover. You started speeding up a volume, a little bit of a dead cat bounce on Tuesday, and then dude, this holiday has thrown me off. Holiday thrown me off here. I never seen anybody like it. When was the last time we had a holiday on a Wednesday? Even Thanksgiving's Thursday. Even Thanksgiving's Thursday. Yeah, let's see this too. 264. That's that's top of the list right there. All right, 264. Just a little pop, and let's see like what's going on it. MU we talked about. I want to see this blow off. So the ATR is 5.4. Let it push up 5.4. We'll try anything over that. I think we try for a rubber band short. It very well may happen tomorrow, though. So just be careful on that, guys. SMCI, big range break over here. Now, we can't chase this, but if it pulls back at the open, this SMCI does this a lot. This is kind of how you want to look at it. So see on Friday, it was at 940, right? It just dumps off like 40 points into 899 and then bounces back. That's how you, if you want to play this today for this range break, what you got to do is like once it pops up here, let it pull back like 30, 40, 50 points and start to see if it starts to hold at a level, like some big level of support. Then you could try and kind of dicker and deal this bad boy. Otherwise, if it's just like straight trend, I would not chase up an ORB, an opening range breakout. I would not chase up like a flag pattern or something like that. Only if it pulls back, guys. Now, this I like. This got to upgrade from neutral with 21 price target. It's gapping up 10%. Let's see if this thing pulls at the open. If it pulls at the open, we can't chase this gap up either. But if we pull back, say we retest around here somewhere, I think this is an overall really good stock. If you look here, this stock's been trending for a little bit, right? And all these dips are kind of getting bought on it. And it's bucking the whole Chinese market. So the Chinese market's been in a little bit of a, it had a nice trend going, and it's just been drifting down for like a week. They just announced all sorts of measures to kind of free up their stock market a little bit. And so you're starting to see a little bit of a push here. So if we start to see a run in these Chinese names, and this is like some level of a bottom here, because we have been basing out here about the 26 range in the FXI for quite some time here, a week or so, then this Billy's going to hang out. And then, we've got this Baba's a dud, but this PDD's probably got a decent look on it too. But I think Billy out of the whole group is the best. And then the other thing you can do is just add in this yen. This is the 3X ETF for, China. This will probably, if the Chinese market holds, then you'll start to see it kind of grind back into there. But so far, Billy's like the best one out of the group. CRDL, this thing is ready to fuck today. So it's only for day trade. You can see here, this is your 30-minute chart. So you got a spot here, 29.80. You tested it. You tested it. You tested it. You tested it. You come in and tested this multiple times. Like you've got yourself a good spot on this. Let's keep an eye. It may just shove off right at the open. It is a little bit thin. It does a couple million shares in volume, but does trade slightly thin. So just be careful. But if you kind of come in and push through this, you may get a nice power candle that comes through there, right? This is like your classic, just high tight flag. TTD's got a nice little flat top breakout too, right? So you got an overall breakout here and then a breakout within the breakout, essentially. We'll need to pull today a little bit, but I would keep an alert right here. If you come in this 98 area, right, and you start to marinate here, this is the breakout spot. If you come in and start to hold there and build there a little bit, I think that sets this next leg up to kind of rip through the 100. Love the look of this halo. Probably more of a swing trade too. So it does lack a little bit of a liquidity. Let me get rid of this thing here. All right, but you got this breakout on news, right? It was about 5 million shares in volume. Then you're having a low volume pullback where the volume is about 1 million shares at a time. starting to come right into the 9 EMA and hold there, right? So you got a really good look on this one. This thing should rip back into the 53, 54s if it can hold this 9 EMA. Man, that's got a hot look on that. And then mRNA, this thing is a dud. Like it only went up here from here to here because of this bird flu nonsense. And that's, that's suspect because ain't nobody ever met anybody with bird flu ever. Like, never met anybody with the little bird flu ever. But hey, here we are. If this thing spikes down here down to 130, we'll get what we call a rubber band long, where you get a stock that's just so oversold and down so many days in a row. So see the stochastics on this is 11. Anything under 20 is considered oversold. So you're down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row. One more push down here. If you test this 50 MA, that is also the old spot for the breakout. So this breakout here that released it to 170 is right back in here. Remember that price has a memory, right? Price has a memory. So if you start to see this thing, man, you got yourself a good spot over there. Oh, yeah. Man, I like this thing. $130, I'm setting an alert. Don't step in front of it before that because it could still keep dropping. But set an alert, $130. If you get there, dude, we're partying. And then this last one I really like. This is probably, you're going to have to be real focused on this one. So this one, you had to push to 196. So you pull back into the bone zone, right? You got a second push. So 2 taps right now, right? Now you're grinding back 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. See, you got like these 2 doji candles. When you have these when you have a hot name and it's setting up for a breakout and you get these 2 narrow range days, right? You can call them dojis or inside days, whatever. When you get these 2 kind of candles right before the breakout and you've got the overall right look on it, that's usually a telltale sign that the breakout is coming. Patterns, like stocks, they like to kind of pucker up their patterns just a little bit right before the breakout. They kind of clench up and tighten up a little bit, and that kind of builds up the steam to push it. So keep an eye on this bad boy. You're in for a real sweet spot here. If it can kind of come out of these like last 2 inside days, I think you're going to kind of release this into the 195 and bust a move. Let me check out this Okalo, Mr. Braun. Yeah, this one is basing out, but it's just got a weird look to it. I kind of find it to have a little bit of a weird look on it. I see what you're talking about, but yeah, I think it needs a little bit more work. I'd go with SMAR instead. Not that either one is bad, but I'd probably go with SMAR. Jorge, ¿cómo está usted? Ustedes están, my friend. Yo, so this Kroger, yes, it's got earnings out, but it is all over the place here, right? So like you've got all sorts of zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. And the location on this is also kind of weird. So I think this one, like you'll have to let it set up. This is not my type of play. Usually when I'm trying to do some kind of earnings play or some type of gapper play, I need like this thing to be, dude, I need this thing to be really partying, right? Like I need it to be clearing levels or breaking down levels. If you go in here, right, you're right in the middle. So it's like it's the penis in between us, right? You're in the back seat of your buddy's Volkswagen Beetle, right? You're not right nut, you're not left nut, you're right in the middle. And man, that's a tight squeeze right there. That's a tight squeeze right there, I mean, if you pop a couple beers, then, it's not so bad. But otherwise, for a road trip, that's no good. Does that make sense, brother? I'm getting into the old Tesla Nation. So let's look at the big boys here real quick. So Nvidia, obviously, we already know this is going to be too overbought to play. AMD is a turd. Now, Meta is an interesting one, right? It's because you got this like push, and now you're starting to flag out over the 9 EMA. I like the overall look of this. I think this one has a good look on it. This one's got a good look on it. And then you can see here, Microsoft's just resting. Netflix a little too extended. But this Tesla, so we had this big pop and then a very, very narrow range day. A very narrow range day just recently. So what we want to see here is kind of a clear out of this range. And if it can happen, then I think, right, clear out of this kind of range over here. And if that can happen, it's just in a little bit of a box. Then I think, we kind of set this thing up to push into the 190s. You're starting to tighten up. It may not do it exactly today, but the setup is there for it to make a move in the next couple days. I'd wait and just kind of make sure it triggers a little bit, and then you're going to be in a good spot. I like it. You guys are doing the buenos. What are you guys watching? What's everybody got cooking, baby? What you got cooking? All right. Yeah, let's see. I got this one on watch. We just want to make sure that it's acting all right. PNW, let me see, brother. Yes, so PanW, you've got a nice sweet spot here. If you get a break over 325, that ain't so bad. That ain't so bad. Coin longer, short. Yeah, I think coin's probably back at support. Overall, it's getting ready to break out. It's just a matter of kind of backing and filling that area. Not bad. Tomorrow sucks to trade. It really does, unless it's on the short side. I mean, I see the setup, but it is a little bit weird. JD, what up, baby? VRT's got the remount. So this has been a hot trender. I actually do like this name. For me, it's a little bit more of a swing setup, but I like the overall look of it. Not bad, baby. Not bad at all. Shit. Yo, man, as they say in France, 2 beers in a bucket. Fuck it. Oh, yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Hey, rock and roll, man. All right, let's go do what we do, baby. Hey, Discord guys, I'm sending out the Zoom link. Let's go pate.